about Gadget's timer is that we had some questions. Was he just using this to deny it away from Saros when we previously saw it against Detonation Focus Me? Or was he a Heimer master? And the amount of skill shots that he was able to block with pulling up towers, his 3,000 IQ play of placing the turrets and then using the blast cone over the wall into the Dragon Pit, this guy is a Heimer master.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't his like one of first 5 Heimer games. Just seeing what happened there. No, certainly
first time Heimer,
knows
guys.
his way around the champion. But I mean, Vega kind of made us kept us guessing there towards the end. You know, thought maybe, okay, you know, it will be something like a Varus or a different marksman there for Gadget. Instead, they do get the Heimer. It falls all the way to last pick.
And what's cool here is that because Santas is so key to their playmaking ability, the fact that it is something like a Heimer who can be left on his own and be very self-sufficient, even when he's pushed forward in a lane, just unlocks Santas to use his experience on the stage and try helping out a Nanastic in that jungle. So this is what I want from Vega Squadron. I want Santas on the map, I want him on heavy playmakers, and I want to try to see Vega Squadron control that bottom side vision and try to exploit leverages there. Hopefully they get a good dragon spawn and they can look for a snowball.
On the other side, of course, for PVB, they picked standard, but that's been pretty much their whole idea since dominating the VCS throughout this year. Yes, again, they are pretty high-octane, pretty fast-paced team as the champions of the VCS, but they do play pretty stock standard. So this comp's something they've run a number of times, or at least things like it. I'm expecting Melee to go towards that top side because I feel like Jace vs. Aurelia is one of those matchups where if someone dies early, things can fall over very swiftly.
Feels like the word that we use is volatile. It can be a very volatile matchup. Although the last time we've seen Melee kind of pathing around, you know, he doesn't always have to go towards Zeros' lane. Sometimes he does try to protect his weak side. And one of the nice things about this draft from PVB is he has so many tools and so many options in both his side lanes to set up ganks for him. The kill pressure that Jace is going to be available to provide, as well as the hard CC that Palette will bring with that Nautilus.
Yeah, one of those things about Nautilus is the ease of execution feels real nice, when, especially if you're trying to pin someone down like Gadget and his Heimer. First turret will get an Arcane Comet proc, but a bit of extra gold there for Palette as he takes that one out. And actually will invade kind of late here, but just, I think, getting info, and unfortunately loses 100 health or so for it.
Give me the supportal combat. I'm ready for Santas and Palette to just go toe-to-toe. Unfortunately, both of them had a bit of a rough best of 5 yesterday. Palette was not connecting with the skill shot. Should be a little bit easier today on the Nautilus.
More turrets down again. A bit more gold, but more Arcane Comet procs. So looks like Nanastic will get some help. On the other side here, the Zeros and Meliodas with that early lens actually going to sweep in and try and start for this red buff invade. So we talked about the map being split based on the champions picks. Now the map's really going to get split.
Yeah, we assume that this is going to be about vertical jungling. So I'm going to pull up the mini-map right here and then just... Everyone should be used to this, but right now, this side of the map, this is going to belong to PVB because they have access to the red buff, and there's no reason that Rek'Sai wants to cut across. Now, we'll keep our eyes and see if maybe they do something bizarre, but what it means is, we said this was about top side. We said this is about unlocking Jace, allowing him to make the most of that volatile matchup. Now that there's no reason for a Nanastic to go top because he doesn't have any camps to farm, it just is free farm for Zeros up there. He can be as explosive and abusive as he wants to in that top matchup.
You can see Crab here on the right, going to go down over to Rek'Sai.
He's going to try to 3-buff him.
Yeah, Meliodas actually pathing down back towards his own Raptors here, so already took the red buff and the Raptor camp away from the Vega jungle, and is actually going to get away with this cross maps through mid lane, and Nanastic's just forcing himself back to the blue side jungle.
And that's the key thing, and it's because of the wave pressure that Big Koro and Palette have. Now
oh my god, Heimer!
Trading back a lot.
Lasers. I thought the hook was good from Palette, but loses the trade in epic fashion.
Okay, so it was really good until that moment. Palette's gonna hopefully walk it off, but losing your flash will certainly hurt. But it's just like you're saying, the fact that Olaf went cross-map across mid lane,
they're going for it. Stun left in. Arcane come up procs. Palette looks to be on the menu, but first blood, but Big Koro finds the explosion, takes down the support, and that's first blood PVB.
It felt like both teams didn't really know how much damage they're going to do. I'm looking at Palette, I'm like, I don't know if you want that one, but they didn't have the cooldowns to follow it up. But hold that, a Nanastic now looking mid.
Yep, Null maybe the target here. Does get the knock up there. He's going to force the flash. Very respectful there from Orianna.
Okay, so... we're still going.
Yeah,
we're not going to have some time.
Olaf's going to fall asleep, and I think that will call off the end of the play.
Oh, boy. He's chasing him.
So you asked for support or combat, Frostgruen. You have gotten it. Maybe not as early as you called for.
I was so interested into how these jungle matchups were going to go over. This is so bold from Ananasik. You should not have access to the scrub camp. And Zeros is like, what are you doing? You can't walk up here. I have the rotation. Speaking of rotations.
Here comes Pallet. Nomad's ready with a flash. Puts him to sleep with that hook. Massive blind there. The ignite down onto Null. Nomad's trying to hold on to that flash, but I'm not sure if he's holding on for it to too long. Does flash out from under the ball. Gets out safely, but a nice roam from Pallet.
Everything's on fire. That's how this game is going to be. I was like, what kind of best of 5 we're going to get? Maybe if it's PVB, maybe it's very fast, it's very furious. Maybe if it's Vega Squadron, it'll be a little bit slower, a little bit controlled. But everything is going for, you know, on fire, hardcore plays. We're looking to trade kills.
And again, Santos just didn't have any health. I think you thought as soon as that grenade landed that was a kill for Heimer, but he didn't have any turrets in the area. That was all the laser damage that won them the earlier trade. Gadget just must not have had it on cooldown, because that, to me, I agree with you. That looked like a moment where Vega should have gotten first blood. And
anytime you have a champion like Heimer injected into these 2v2s, you're really going to test how well people know the trade patterns of these types of champions. And frankly, it looked like neither side, except for Gadget, really understood what his full capability was, because Santos goes in, he doesn't need to look for the trade back right there. Pallet was curious how much damage he was going to absorb, but at the end of the day, Big Koro and Pallet, Kai'Sa, Nautilus, probably a bit more standard, figured it out in the end.
All right, well, as we take stock of what's happened in the first 5 minutes of play, CS is pretty even across the board, but that first kill will give PVB a gold lead of about 1,000. Meliodas supporting his friends down here in the 2v2 is just going to sweep out the vision and make sure nothing else happens, but much faster than we might have expected here. We kind of think about how these two teams made it to this spot, playing in their group stages. Group A felt like the much faster one, Group B not so much, but it's breakneck pace to kick off the series as Zeros may be in some trouble.
I think this would be a little bit ambitious, just because Zeros has access to his flash. Maybe if he uses his knockaway right here.
Gonna hold on to it for now. Zeros trying to win the trade, but Boss just stands his ground and auto-attacks him. And Zeros being out of mana likely has to TP back here. And as the Rek'Sai lying in wait, pops the Pricey, gonna cancel the recall. Now what do you do, Zeros?
Now you pray.
I mean, waves coming in, there's no jungler, no TPs up for your team.
Or
I think they're gonna let him go. I guess just can't see anything, so it's worried the jungler's already here.
I guess you just walk that one out, and that's what you're saying, Pastry. It's the fact that he doesn't know where Olaf is. Meanwhile, Meliodas is finally going to show an award, so you bet Ananasik is kicking himself now, having vision of where the Olaf is and saying, oh, that was my kill. I could have expended the flash, or I could have expended the kill or the reach for that.
And instead, Zeros comes back up, TP's back with his tier 2 boots, and Boss will do the same, although currently he's going to hold onto that TP. The only prize for Ananasik is that Wolf Camp that he'll take away, but Olaf already putting a control ward down into Vega Squadron's blue jungle and going to take down this Grump.
So we started out with a strong side of the map, Medic. Thank you for explaining that to the viewers in Countdown. For top side for PVB, but now as Meliodas has kind of turned everything on its head and he's trying to abuse the lack of summoner spells for Santos in the bot lane and abuse the pushing power and kill pressure that Big Koro and Pallet had down bottom, he's starting to blitz into that jungle and carve away all of this CS. You can see the disparity is opening up between the junglers. 44 to 31 right now. That's actually a big deal this early on in the game.
You can also see that Meliodas, despite the loss versus Team Liquid, still some pretty decent stats. I called him earlier the heartbeat of this team. He really is there when almost anything happens. I think has like 75% KP over the course of the tournament, and you can see 70 in that last series.
I mean, if he's not the heartbeat, he's certainly the spark. He's where everything really starts and turns into a full flame for this team.
Well, also some coverage being provided here by PVB for Zeros, but it's Pallet instead that's found his way up into the top side of the map, going for a bit of a roam. Blue buff also going to be attempted steal here for PVB. Looks like they'll get away with it too. Smite though forced by Meliodas.
And it's how they're playing with information. So the fact that they were able to do that despite not having access to Pallet behind them since he did look top, you can see that Vega Squadron are, you know, we don't know exactly where everyone is. Let's play this one cautiously. Our jungler's in base right now, so it's not worth like a hard contest. But you have to think, if they knew Pallet was top lane, if he had showed, maybe that's a very different setup.
Right now, Zeros just going to clear out the rest of these minions. Boss actually going to, not go back, cancels that recall as Pallet hooks back onto a wall to find himself next to his lane mate and get a bit of gold there, proccing the Targon stack. Also spy a Bilgewater Cutlass in the inventory for Big Koro. So we've seen a lot of Storm Razor first on Kai'Sa, but this is kind of a departure from that, likely looking for Blade of the Ruined King first here.
I also think it helps that when you're dealing with that type of poke that Gadget just placed onto Kai'Sa with the rockets, that it helps to have the life steal and the sustain in the lane phase. So he can sit back here, just try to farm up on these creeps as the waves are constantly crashing into him.
Another good hook there for Pallet. Gadget, though, does have the ulti ready. Big Coro charging in with a killer instinct. Flashes forward, grabs the kill, and now it's Santos that's in trouble. Pallet hits 6, he pops the depth charge, and Santos, it's goodbye and a double kill for the biggest of Coros.
The immediate burst damage that came out there, the fact that Big Coro didn't hesitate, pulled the trigger, and pushed down this Heimerdinger.
And again, we talked about Gadget, his different picks. Heimer looked very strong when they played in play-ins, but Big Coro and Pallet showing what they can get done. And of course, Gadget certainly had a struggle versus the Flash Rules, but hold that thought as Nanasik is ganking top. Flash on Burrow there, knock up is going to land, and now the stun falls in. Q is easy stop, and here's Meliodas going to try and get a counter kill. 1v2, pops the ulti there on the Olaf, and Boss just going to run away to a minion. Now has to be careful about getting dove himself.
No flash available for a Nanasik, so it would be a little bit harder to execute, but we'll see if Meliodas just walks up.
Chilling Smite, forcing the flash. There's the ulti out. Meliodas looking to go down, and there's Boss finds the second kill.
Just frankly greed for Meliodas right now. There's no reason, just apart from the tower. He wanted the EXP. He wanted to see if maybe he could get a couple of pot shots with a fadeaway axe, but in the end, it smashes him. Now 2-0 on this Aurelia.
So again, a matchup where we thought Ceres was at least looking good in those trades. Boss springboarded up in that 1v1 as he picks up the teammate and walks himself back towards the lane.
And again, I kind of want to focus in as things are settling on the top side. I'm not back to the bot side. Something that's really cool about how this Nautilus is going to interact with the Heimerdinger is now that Heimer has completed his Lost Chapter, although I may have to hold it, it's Santos looking for a gank, has flash.
Null the target, no cleanse up, but does have the flash as you mentioned, so just fine there.
Yeah, trying to find that window. Is that if Heimer is going to be so far forward down the lane, has the mana to sustain that so he can be constantly pushed, with a Nautilus ultimate, it makes it so devastating to be on that long of the lane because you have immediate hard CCs. Taking another look at this one here.
I mean, they tried something, but the CC was there. Easy follow-up, and then just a quick Q there from Boss to finish it off. This is what you're mentioning, though. Greed here from Meliodas.
Yeah, and, you know, maybe he gets a hold of Boss. He's able to turn that one around. Now mid.
To no man's forced to flash away, but there's the follow. Killer instinct again from Big Coro, although it's Null that gets the credit.
Big Coro is unlocked and ready.
Yeah, this bot lane, we talked about maybe in the 2v2 they can find some traction. Well, they did that, and now they're moving that advantage over the map. Again, Nautilus, a champion that we maybe expected to rise in priority. Support, you don't get as much damage, but the CC is still certainly there.
But this is what we wanted from Santos, who has the, you know, superior roam support with the Galio versus the Nautilus. He wanted him unlocked from his lane, assisting with dives like that. But unfortunately, just hasn't found the same traction that Pallet has.
Decent block there, using the turret. Now a TP coming in from Vega. Pallet going to be the target, ignited by Santos, his boss. The big strong member is going to try and get himself a gear. Nautilus, close but not there. Gadget though finds the missiles. Now a 2v3, make it 4v3 as the rest of PVB have made their way down. Santos channeling the W to try and buy some time. There's the Vanguard dead from Boss, but it won't delay the death of Gadget. Now the dive coming out. Not going to follow just yet, but have to be careful here for Aurelia.
But again, Big Coro picking up more of these kills. Now 4-0 on the Kai'Sa, has the completed Blade of the Rune King, probably going for a 2-item power spike as we normally see on Kai'Sas. Just a bit of a different order here, and picking up more plates. So this is right on track for PVB to start running away with this game.
Yeah, plates go over as Zeros and Big Coro collect some of that gold. Boss will stay for the wave because Gadget decided he's had enough of that Nautilus. He's going to move from the bot lane in towards the top. Rift Herald also channeled. Nanasik did at least get that when all the bot action was happening.
I'm just curious, you know, normally when you make a play like this and you give so many plates over to a champion, it is something like a Kai'Sa, maybe one of your top laners, an Aurelia or a Jace, like that feels so impactful. On the likes of Heimer, I don't know the champion intimately well enough to decide if that's a good call. Like, we just gave Gadget all of this gold, he's already far behind. It feels like he has a lot of not utility, but like frustration built into his kit that he doesn't necessarily need to be that nuke, but we'll now pay attention to Gadget. His team prioritized him there with the Rift Herald call, and he better start hitting really hard to get him back in the game.
Yeah, Boss also in trouble, currently in a bit of a situation, although Pallet now has found the friends of Vega roaming down, but everyone here together as Phong v Buffalo trying to find a kill, won't grab it, but will at least try and pressure for a second turret. Oh, they're first, actually.
Yeah, just trying to get some control over this area, unfortunately, with no dragon spawn. I think PVB are investing a bit too heavily down bottom because Vega in the last 3 minutes have actually made better map rotations, I feel. Not necessarily winning in the skirmishes, but taking down top tower and getting a good chunk out of mid.
Certainly one of the things that Heimer is good at as he does drop the ulti turret to get a decent chunk of damage onto the turret and collect himself yet another plate. So despite being down about 20 CS or so, does have a large influx of gold, and Eluden's now completed there for the Heimer.
It's just kind of one of those things where, you know, if you see Eluden's come out on a champion who is struggling to find the wave clear, you say like, okay, that felt worth it, that felt good, because now we can at least get free priority on a Heimer who already kind of naturally gets the priority with his towers. Again, I'm all eyes on Gadget. The team made a conscious effort to try to get him back into the game by feeding the gold or funneling resources into him, and I don't know if that's necessarily the right call with these different champions.
Yeah, again, if they continue to pay attention, I think Boss, who is ahead in this situation, also might wish that he had some support around him. We've seen that Zeros is capable of playing when he doesn't have support, and, you know, still making sure he plays safe enough to not do too much silly stuff. See if Boss has kind of afforded the same luxury, because again, imagine if the plates went over to him, maybe that Triforce is now done, and he could start playing a little bit more aggressively. As it is, I think, with this Heimer being quite strong, playing for this next Drake might be fairly important, and is going to be an Infernal as PVB already grabbed that first cloud.
Yeah, and they're also moving in, making sure that they get control of the scuttle. They want to have priority over into this mid lane. Maybe they hunt for a pick here. Pallet looking to go fishing.
Zeros does get some poke onto No Man's, but PVB going to group and try and do some structure damage. Plates have dropped off, but still want to try and take the objective if you can.
They do need to be respectful, though, because Big Koro, their big cannon right now, is still down into that bottom lane, so they don't want to force too heavy of a fight unless someone just really steps out of bounds, unless he's with the squad.
Right now, they're just happy to try and take a turret for himself and continue to extend that gold lead. 4 out of 6 kills do belong to Big Koro, and a bit of extra gold there coming from the turret as well.
Yeah, and he should be really close to his Rage Blade now, so it feels like we should stall this Infernal if you're PVB until he has access to those 2 items, and then he's going to feel really comfortable walking into that scenario. Whereas for Vega Squadron, it's kind of the same thing if they want to contest for it, where you need to walk into the area early, clear out a lot of the vision, and then just start setting up your Heimer turrets. He's kind of like a champion like Gangplank, where, you know, when he's reacting to a fight, unless he hits his rockets, he's not going to bring much. If he gets there early and he has his setup, then he feels a lot more viable as a champion.
I mean, if you have the vision, Heimer plus Zoe seems like a pretty good area of influence to have when you're trying to take an objective, and Vega did actually take the time to push down the mid-outer, so they still stay up in the lead as far as towers go. But with 10 seconds remaining on this Infernal, buys have come in. No major completed items just yet, at least not the Rage Blade we might have expected, but certainly a fight will be had for this objective.
Yeah, which is why Null's just trying to get priority. Maybe caught.
Shockwave onto Boss does a decent chunk of damage, but Null will not have that cooldown now.
Yeah, that's massive, not having access to a big burst here. It feels like it'll change PvB's playstyle here, where they just run full steam ahead into this fight, versus this is really about trying to draw Vega Squadron out and threatening pressure on the mid tower, which is why you see them cutting upwards. Like, without Shockwave, we can't fight this unless it's perfect scenario.
Yeah, and you gotta go, because as you said, walking into a Heimer with no vision doesn't feel like a particularly fun scenario. So the Infernal Drake will go over to Vega. PVB will trade for the mid-outer turret. And gold is staying relatively close. Phong Buffalo up about 2,000 gold. Zeros will extend that lead as they actually take the turret lead for the first time this game as he finishes that off. And also, Boss, don't know what you're doing there, but that's an easy pick-off. In fact, Santa's completed that, now forced to flash away. Zeros going to come in and try and change the play. Olaf already popped the Ragnarok, but Zeros there with a flanking jet, an absolutely massive accelerated shock blast. Make sure Gadget's demise is felt, and now another sick knockback. Big Koro finds the ulti there in, and that's going to be yet Big Koro finds the ulti there in, and that's going to be yet another kill. In fact, make it almost an ace. It's just Santa's that survives.
And the devastating thing is that Vega Squadron had placed all of their vision to control the Infernal, but they didn't exit to the correct side, and they didn't have vision to spot out anywhere else that PVB were. Maybe they thought they went for a reset. Maybe they thought that they skirted up towards the top of the map, but Boss overextends, and the trigger is immediately pulled.
Again, your poke champion's far away in Fog of War, great. Your champion's next to a Nautilus with way more of the enemy team around than you, not a great idea. As we'll watch this one again. I mean, Boss, just a greedy recall here.
Right on vision too. Yeah, you hate to see it, and then immediately the dog pile on top. Santos is trying to get in there, trying to save his top laner. Ultimately, it just baits out the rest of his team where they try to hang around, and Zeros doesn't hesitate. Immediately the teleport comes through, and he finds them on the back half with massive Jace damage.
Nice target selection as well. Knew they could try and chase for 2 targets and do so successfully. Phong Buffalo certainly have not lost their luster for blood throughout this tournament.
It's my favorite type of team. And watching Phong Buffalo, we were having this conversation earlier, Pastry Time. I was like, you know who they kind of remind me of? They kind of play a little bit like the Flash Wolves.
Yeah, Flash Cubs.
Yeah, where they unlock themselves really early from the lanes. They like to skirmish. It feels a lot like rotating priority around plates and rotating priority around Rift Herald, especially early on. And I kind of have a feeling that if you are Team Liquid versus Phong Buffalo and you are Vega Squadron versus Flash Wolves, that it makes sense that you would cross scrim. And so I assume that PVB probably scrimmed a lot with the Flash Wolves.
And again, if that team was good enough to pretty convincingly take down Vega, at least in this first game, warning bells are starting to ring a little. Next Drake will be up in a few minutes. It will be Infernal number 2. Phong Buffalo up about 5,000 gold, pretty substantial, as we're not quite at 19 minutes through this game. And again, Vega, despite all their creativity and the way they were able to pick up the pace throughout their playing group stage, they were not as good when behind. And I think the long game they eventually lost over to Mega is kind of a sign of a team that when ahead, they seem good. When behind, they can maybe struggle to find their way back into the game.
And the reality is like you were just saying, there was only one game where they really fell behind, so they didn't get a lot of immediate practice with it on this international stage. And specifically for this composition, it just hurts. Whenever assassins like, not assassins, well, no, I'll call Zoe an assassin. She's a mage, assassin, wave clear, priority, utility bot. She's fun. She's not fun, that was sarcasm. When you have someone like Zoe who doesn't have 100 to 0 kill pressure on something, she loses a lot of her valuability across the map, where she just becomes kind of the utility choke bot. And so maybe that's why they decided to prioritize Gadget, like getting access to gold so he can do really nice line damage with his rockets. Because think about this, if Nomans isn't able to kill anyone on PVB, which a lot of them have shields, a lot of them are naturally tanky, he's basically looking for Kaisa and hopefully that's it, then you need to have the follow-up damage from the Heimer, that if a Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands on someone, something has to nuke someone.
Well, looks like PVB are setting up for this next Drake, up in a minute 10 for the Infernal. And Vega Squadron very bold, farming in their own jungle here, to be honest. Probably going to try and start the fight up again. At Santos, it's rooted there by the passive. Redemption goes down. Depth charge is going to be stasis down. Boss there on the roam with a good Vanguard Z. Zerosto in a rampage. Takes down a Nanasik. No Man's not able to get a Trey kill, but Nor finds another as Gadget goes down. PVB blinking low, but not dead. They will get a Trey, but a shutdown and an ace across the board for the Phong Buffalo.
Just absolutely obliterated right there. Big Koro with the confidence that he ults into the middle of all of that action happening right now. But 3 members still alive. The creep wave behind them and knocking on the base door.
Would have been happy to get a kill and take the Infernal in 30 seconds. They'll be even happier to take down this inhibitor at 21 minutes. In fact, Phong Buffalo might not be going too far after this. Looks like they will back off. Timers are still a little low. But all of a sudden, Vega's job was already very difficult. Now it's borderline impossible.
But you said it, you called it. You know, why are you farming in your jungle right now when you are so far behind? There is free access to gold across the map. You don't need to be in there. Now, they take the fight. You can look anywhere on your screen and kind of pick something cool that's happening. And by cool, I mean just a lot of explosions. Particularly the fact that Gadget really didn't have any impact on that team fight because he was immediately caught out by Naw's Orianna.
Yeah, he's got zoned by the Ori. And now Vega are doing the thing we just told them maybe not to do. For now, they have a... No, they don't even have a man advantage. They're going to start this Infernal, though, and Phong Buffalo are going to make them pay. Zeros already with a massive Shock Blast. Gadget at 50% health. Shockwave finds 2, and Nanasik dead. Can't take the Drake now. Vega, what are you doing there?
Trying to fight from the back foot. You know, it's bold. That's all I got for it. It's bold.
I mean, maybe at this point you feel like the game is far enough out of reach that you have to do something desperate, but that seems reckless.
I think you're trying to drive tempo where you assume that maybe PVB have made a hard reset and you can take the dragon before they get back onto the map. You look at something like Heimerdinger, it should be able to clean up dragons or monster objectives very quickly, and it's just kind of the wrong gamble. They did manage to disengage safely, although as I say that, that's a lot of damage. Ow.
Now, Zeros is quite the character. He's the kind of guy that, you know, if emotes were enabled, you'd see them all the time on top of this guy's head, I think. He just flashed Shock Blasted over the wall and then didn't even follow, just assumed Gadget would die from the poke. Gadget lives, so thankfully for him now with the Zonya's Hourglass might feel a little bit safer, but you can kind of tell the kind of swagger that Zeros is playing with right now. This team feels very comfortable.
And it's not just Zeros, it's also Big Koro. We talked about the last team fight. He immediately triggered the Kaisa ultimate to get into the thick of it. And it just feels like all of PVB really bounced back from their loss against TL yesterday. And whether that's, you know, hometown advantage, the fact that this is maybe a stylistic mismatch, a very fast team versus a very controlled kind of outthink team. But They're looking good today.
Certainly in this game, as they will pick up the Baron and move themselves ever closer to the 10,000 gold lead mark, up about 8 or 9k, with the Magi's finished there by Null. Looks like he needed some reading to do on the way back to the fountain.
The classic 23-minute Magi's.
We had a 10-sec Dark Silly. He's like, I guess I do this. Let's see where they go next. Mid inhibitor will be back up in 2.5 minutes. That's actually quite a lot of time.
Boss
also realizes he's in the wrong neighborhood. Does get the stun down, but just pressing his buttons, I think, at that point, as they'll take the blue buff away and look to try and start the push here on the bot lane, as Zeros going to run down and escort those minions in with the Baron buff. Yeah,
it looks like we're pivoting between mid and bot lane, although that was a pretty healthy chunk taken out of pallet, so maybe hope still left there for the Vega Squadron.
Again, if you're going to get something done, you have to do it from a distance or find a pick-off if someone from the Phong Buffalo are too far forward. To their credit, they've played pretty disciplined, I have to think, this game. Been nice and well together, taken opportunities very swiftly. And again, if you want to compare this team favorably to the Flash Wolves, they're a team that, pulls the trigger as soon as they see an opportunity, and I do see that kind of crispness in this first game for PVB.
It was one of the nice takeaways from yesterday's series between Vega and Flash Wolves, is that it felt like PVB have a bit of a Flash Wolves-light-esque style about them. Again, opening up maps, very skirmish-heavy, rotating around and skirmishing over monster objectives.
All right, well, Vega will give up that inhibitor tower. Guess they don't feel like they can fight for this either, but at this point you're running out of things to defend in your base. Don't think you want to make your last stand at the Nexus, but Phong Buffalo move in, take the inhib in bot, and they're going to move out. Pallet tagged, but he's fine.
I think an issue is how do Vega Squadron even try to set up or prepare for a fight at this point? Yeah, you kind of are just watching your base get eaten alive right now. You're watching a house burn down, but unless No Man's really tags significant damage onto a target, they don't have a lot of consistent hard engage. It's, an Anasic, good luck. We will remember you fondly. Go in.
And then Santa's usually follows and probably meets the same fate. I mean, you don't have cooldowns up. They can maybe try and look for a flank, but even those control wards moved up to support that seed from PVB. Just again shows this is a team that does their homework before they, attempt anything too risky. Yes, they go at you quickly when they're trying to end the game or start an objective, but still make sure they do the little things first. And in this game, at least, it's merited them an absolutely massive lead.
I was curious what Little Gadget was up to right there. I feel like
some fun.
He was trying to. I actually think he was trying to assassinate Big Koro. He had Ananasic behind him. Speaking of that,
Boss is going to get 1v1 by Zeros. Top lane matchup, which looked good when Boss was 2-0-1, is now certainly not that.
Is it a 1v1 or is it an assassination? I feel like.
I think if you have a Dustblade and you get a kill in a 1v1, I agree with you. It is an assassination.
I just feel like if you never get the opportunity to punch back, that's not a fight.
It's a stealth kill. All right, well, top tier 2 is dead. That's 8 turrets to 2. Mid inhibitor's back up. It's about all the good news I have for Vega right now, unfortunately for them.
They're getting blitzed from all sides.
Meliodas popped his stopwatch. Probably didn't mean to do that, but all 3 inhibs are down. Baron is going to wear off. Beautifully timed. Just hook onto No Man. See you later. Big Koro going to grab himself a kill. No, he gets the inhib. That's Null that picks up credit. Not sure it matters too much now, though. 5v4, everyone dying. That's a double kill for Null. Big Koro picks up another. Onto Zeros, they will get the kill. Vega just trying to collect what they can before they wrap up their keywords for game 2, because Null going to grab the triple. That's going to be an ace in the base. Nexus turrets and the Nexus will fall down as the Phong Buffalo blitz through Vega in game number 1.
Felt like it was a fight fire with fire, everything. There was so much action across the map in the early game, but